Picture this. You're about to meet your favorite singer. Your heart races with excitement as you clutch the concert ticket in your hand, waiting in line for a meet and greet. You've admired this artist for years, listened to their songs on repeat, watched every YouTube video, followed them on every social platform. Now you're only a few feet away from finally meeting them in person. Their voice was the soundtrack to your toughest days and your sweetest victories, and this moment feels surreal. You picture the conversation. Maybe they'll say, "Thank you for being a fan." You'll snap a quick photo, and that cherished image will forever remind you of the day your real life and dream collided. In those seconds, the world is vibrant, hopeful, and charged with possibility. But sometimes, in the blink of an eye, the moment that's supposed to be one of the happiest in your life can turn into a nightmare. In June 2016, many fans of singer Christina Grimmie had an experience much like the one above. They attended her show, excited for a night of music and a chance to meet the YouTube star turned The Voice sensation. Tragically, that evening ended with Grimmie's life cut short by a senseless act of violence. This is the story of Christina Grimmie's rise, her untimely death, and the aftermath that rocked the music industry, her loved ones, and her devoted fan base. Christina Victoria Grimmie was born on March 12, 1994, in Marlton, New Jersey, to parents Tina and Albert Grimmie. She grew up with one older brother, Marcus, who would later become a key figure in her life, both personally and professionally. From an early age, Christina exhibited a profound passion for music. By the time she was 5, she was already singing around the house, belting out tunes from Disney movies and pop anthems she heard on the radio. Christina's home life played a pivotal role in shaping her values and dreams. Her family was devoutly Christian, and Christina often sang in church and participated in youth choir events. Her mother, Tina, noticed her daughter's inherent musicality and encouraged it. The family recognized that Christina was no ordinary child singer. She had remarkable control over her voice and an unteachable warmth that radiated through her performances. Her older brother Marcus became more than just a sibling. He became her best friend, bodyguard, and later, her road manager. Their bond was a staple in the Grimmie household. They shared inside jokes, jammed together, and supported one another's creative endeavors. This close sibling relationship would prove instrumental in Christina's future success, and heartbreakingly, it also positioned Marcus at the center of the tragic night that cut her life short. Christina drew inspiration from a range of artists. She admired powerhouse vocalists like Christina Aguilera and Celine Dion, but she was also influenced by the creativity and performance style of bands like Paramore. Blending these influences, her voice carried both softness and raw power. Even as a young girl, she had a unique tone, something that can't be taught through standard vocal training. The internet was booming with amateur performances in the mid to late 2000s as YouTube became a platform for undiscovered talent to find an audience. Spurred on by her friends and family, Christina decided to post videos of herself singing covers of popular songs. Armed with nothing more than a simple camera and a piano or guitar, she began uploading performances of everything from Miley Cyrus hits to worship songs. In 2009, when Christina was around 15 years old, she uploaded a cover of Hannah Montana's "Don't Wanna Be Torn." It didn't go viral overnight, but it garnered enough attention that she felt motivated to keep going. Soon she tackled songs by Justin Bieber, Bruno Mars, and Demi Lovato. Her videos started to gather traction, attracting fans who were captivated by her vocal agility and genuine enthusiasm. Within a couple of years, Christina's YouTube channel, originally under the username ZeldaxLove64, had ballooned to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Part of the appeal was her authenticity. She wasn't just a girl singing behind a mic. She spoke directly to her audience, cracked jokes, and conveyed a humility that was both endearing and relatable. Fans appreciated that she seemed genuinely excited to be doing what she loved. By her late teens, Christina was no longer just a girl with a webcam. She was a bona fide YouTube star. Her parents, recognizing how quickly things were moving, supported her dream wholeheartedly, though they remained cautious about the fast-paced world of internet fame. Little did they know that Christina's path would soon lead her to national television and a more mainstream audience. In 2014, Christina's life changed forever when she auditioned for the 6th season of NBC's hit singing competition, The Voice. She performed a powerful rendition of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball during the blind auditions. All 4 coaches, Adam Levine, Shakira, Usher, and Blake Shelton, turned their chairs, a testament to her undeniable talent. Christina chose Adam Levine as her coach, forging a special bond that would garner her new fans and national recognition. Over the course of the show, Christina delivered a series of standout performances, tackling songs like Hold On, We're Going Home by Drake and How to Love by Lil Wayne. She showcased not only vocal flexibility, but also an emotional connection to lyrics that resonated with audiences. Week after week, she advanced, eventually landing in the top 3 alongside Josh Kaufman and Jake Worthington. Christina didn't win season 6 of The Voice. Josh Kaufman took the title, but she finished in a very respectable 3rd place. Despite not taking home the top prize, she left the show with a massive, devoted following who called themselves Team Grimmie. Her social media presence exploded. She performed on talk shows, and her YouTube channel racked up millions more views. Adam Levine spoke highly of her as not just a contestant, but a genuine artist with a bright future. Following The Voice, Christina signed with Island Records for a brief period, but ultimately decided to pursue a more independent route after creative differences. She continued to produce music on her own terms, releasing an EP titled Side A in February 2016. Critics praised her for her evolving artistry, noticing that she was transitioning from YouTube covers to original material that highlighted her songwriting ability. She also embarked on tours, opened for major acts, and performed at various music festivals. The experience on The Voice had given her a taste of mainstream stardom, but she never lost touch with the grassroots following she had cultivated online. Fans continued to see her as approachable and humble. One notable aspect of Christina Grimmie's persona was her openness about her Christian faith. She spoke openly about God, prayer, and the role faith played in grounding her during tumultuous periods of her career. This candor earned her both admiration and criticism in the cutthroat music industry. However, Christina remained steadfast, often stating in interviews that her faith guided her life choices and helped her remain authentic. In 2016, as she worked on more music projects and prepared for shows, Christina was on the cusp of a new chapter. One that would merge her online fame, her national exposure from The Voice, and her blossoming independence as an artist. By mid-2016, Christina was busy promoting her EP Side A and maintaining a strong connection with her fan base. She often posted updates on social media, announcing small venue shows and meet and greets. One such event was scheduled for June 10, 2016, at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida, where she was the opening act for the band Before You Exit. Although not a massive stadium tour, the setting was intimate, which Christina actually preferred. These smaller venues allowed her to interact closely with fans, sign autographs, and pose for pictures. She thrived in environments where she could connect face-to-face, a hallmark of her approach to fame that traced back to her days on YouTube. Orlando is known for more than just theme parks. It has a vibrant local music scene. The Plaza Live, located on Bumby Avenue, is one of the city's oldest theaters, boasting a history that dates back to the 1960s. Over the years, it has hosted a variety of events, musical performances, comedy shows, and community gatherings. On June 10, 2016, the venue promised a night of pop-rock fusion to a modest but enthusiastic crowd. Christina arrived in Orlando with her brother, Marcus, who often traveled with her. Serving as a quasi-tour manager and guardian, Marcus took his role seriously, watching out for Christina's well-being both on and off stage. The two were eager to meet up with fans, many of whom had been following Christina since her early YouTube days. Fans lined up outside the Plaza Live, chatting excitedly about which songs Christina might sing. Several fans wore homemade t-shirts declaring their love for her. Others carried handmade signs with messages of support. For many, this was their first time seeing Christina live since The Voice, or their first time ever. Inside the venue, staff prepared the stage and tested sound equipment. Christina did a quick sound check earlier in the day, greeting the staff with her trademark smile and polite, bubbly personality. Nothing seemed amiss. Security protocols at the Plaza Live were relatively standard for a small to mid-sized music venue, bag checks at the door, and a security presence in the lobby. Before each show, Christina had a routine that helped her center herself. A prayer, some vocal warm-ups, and a quick text to friends or family who couldn't be there. She posted a short update on social media, often a snippet on Twitter, or an Instagram story thanking fans who'd come out. On this night, she was especially excited because she felt Orlando fans had always been supportive. The city's diverse population meant a mixed crowd of longtime Grimmie supporters and new fans who discovered her through local radio. Unbeknownst to anyone, among the crowd gathering for that show was a lone individual whose intentions were anything but supportive. Security checks did not reveal the danger lurking in one person's bag. In a matter of hours, the course of Christina Grimmie's life, and the lives of those who loved her, would be changed forever. Christina took the stage sometime in the late evening, performing several of her original songs as well as a few covers to which her fans eagerly sang along. She radiated energy and gratitude. Observers recall her set being particularly uplifting. She engaged the crowd, asked them to sing parts of the chorus, and even joked between songs. Marcus watched from backstage, keeping a casual yet protective eye on everything. The crowd wasn't massive. Some estimates put it at a few hundred, but it was intimate and energetic. This environment suited Christina's style. She thrived on the personal connection, the banter, the chance to lock eyes with individual fans in the audience. After her set, she graciously thanked everyone, reminded them she'd be at the merch table afterward, and then waved goodbye as the next act prepared to go on. Following the performance, Christina headed to a designated table in the lobby where she would sign autographs, pose for photos, and chat with fans. This was a common practice for her, a ritual that reaffirmed her bond with the people who had supported her career from the beginning. There was a short line forming, and Marcus hovered nearby, monitoring the queue. One by one, fans approached with their smartphones, ready to capture the moment. Christina greeted each person with a hug or a handshake. She offered genuine compliments, praising someone's t-shirt design or thanking them for traveling so far, just to see her. She signed posters, CDs, and personal items, always with a smile. Marcus was used to meet and greet sessions and had a practiced eye for any potential issues. While most fans were respectful, occasionally someone might linger too long or try to cut in line. But on this night, nothing seemed overtly alarming until one person approached with a disturbing level of focus. As the meet and greet continued, a young man stood in line wearing a hat and glasses. He seemed quiet, not engaging much with others around him. Marcus noticed him, but given the laid-back nature of these events, he didn't immediately suspect anything sinister. Security at the Plaza Live had some measures in place, but they were not as rigorous as those at large concert arenas. Around 10:30 p.m., the next fan in line stepped forward. Witnesses reported that Christina opened her arms for a hug, as she often did. What happened next was almost too quick for the mind to process. The man, later identified as 27-year-old Kevin James Loibl, pulled out a handgun and shot Christina at close range. Marcus sprung into action, tackling the shooter in a desperate attempt to disarm him. In the scuffle, Loibl managed to fire more shots, striking Christina multiple times. Amid the chaos, screams pierced the air, and people began running in all directions. Some bystanders hit the floor to take cover, while others fled in sheer panic. Loibl, wrestled to the ground by Marcus, broke free for a moment and turned the gun on himself, taking his own life. When the gunfire stopped, Christina lay gravely wounded. Her friends, her brother, and shocked fans rushed to her side, calling frantically for help. Paramedics arrived swiftly, administering CPR and stabilizing her for transport to a nearby hospital. Everyone hoped and prayed that the young singer, who had so much life ahead of her, would survive. Christina was transported to the Orlando Regional Medical Center, where medical staff worked tirelessly to save her. The wounds were severe, and she had lost a considerable amount of blood. Marcus, in shock but determined, accompanied paramedics, repeatedly urging Christina to hold on. He later described the ride to the hospital as the most terrifying experience of his life, feeling utterly helpless, yet trying to maintain a thread of hope. Upon arriving at the hospital, Christina was rushed into surgery. Doctors and surgeons did everything within their power, but the damage was catastrophic. Multiple bullet wounds had compromised vital organs. The medical team's efforts persisted for hours, but Christina did not regain consciousness. In the early hours of June 11th, 2016, Christina Grimmie was pronounced dead. The shock reverberated almost immediately through social media, with fans and acquaintances refusing to believe the news. How could a simple meet and greet have ended in such devastating violence? Marcus and the rest of the Grimmie family were plunged into unimaginable grief. They had come to Orlando for a routine performance and fan interaction, something Christina had done countless times before. Now they had lost their daughter, sister, and shining star forever. Within moments of the hospital pronouncement, local Orlando news stations picked up the story. Initial headlines read, "Shooting at the Plaza Live, singer Christina Grimmie critically injured." Soon, it was updated to, "Christina Grimmie dead at 22. Word spread rapidly across the internet, with R.I.P. Christina trending worldwide on Twitter. Fans posted emotional tributes, recalling the kindness and humility she had shown them. Mainstream outlets like CNN, NBC, and Rolling Stone published breaking news pieces about the tragedy. Journalists scrambled to gather information on how someone could bring a loaded firearm into a seemingly secure venue. They also reported on the heroic actions of Marcus Grimmie, who undoubtedly prevented further bloodshed by immediately confronting the shooter. In the hours following Christina's death, there was an outpouring of grief from the music community. Adam Levine, who coached Christina on The Voice, expressed his sorrow and disbelief on Instagram and pledged support to her family. Her fellow contestants from the show shared memories of her compassion and readiness to help others. Selena Gomez, whose stepfather was once Christina's manager, broke down in tears on stage during her own concert, dedicating a song to Christina. While the tributes poured in, the darkness of the event left an indelible mark on those who witnessed it. Fans who had been in line with the shooter were traumatized, grappling with survivors' guilt and the horrific memory of watching their beloved idol gunned down in front of them. Many would need counseling to process what they had seen. As police cordoned off the Plaza Live and commenced their investigation, it emerged that the gunman was James Loibl, a 27-year-old man from St. Petersburg, Florida. He had carried 2 handguns, additional ammunition, and a hunting knife into the venue. Loibl died by suicide after shooting Christina, so law enforcement would never be able to interrogate him directly about his motives. In the days following the tragedy, investigations uncovered that Loibl had an apparent obsession with Christina Grimmie. Former co-workers at a local electronics store recalled Loibl speaking about Christina frequently, claiming he had undergone hair transplants and LASIK surgery to make himself more appealing to her. He insisted that one day he would marry her. There was no record of prior communication between Loibl and Christina. Friends of Christina said she had never mentioned him, and her social media interactions suggested no specific threats from that account. Nonetheless, Loibl had meticulously planned his actions, purchasing tickets for the show, arming himself, and traveling from St. Petersburg to Orlando, an approximately 2-hour drive. The suspect's mental health background became a central focus for investigators. Loibl's family offered minimal comments, requesting privacy. One friend suggested Loibl had become increasingly withdrawn and had exhibited signs of depression. Another indicated that Loibl may have believed he had a personal connection with Christina through her YouTube videos and social media posts. The Orlando Police Department eventually closed its inquiry, concluding that Loibl had acted alone and that the attack was premeditated. To Christina's family, details of James Loibl's life and mental state offered little solace. Their daughter was gone, not because of a drug deal gone wrong or a random accident, but because a stranger had developed an inexplicable fixation. This grim reality underscored the vulnerability of public figures, particularly those who maintain open, friendly relationships with fans. The news of Christina Grimmie's death hit the internet in a visceral wave of sorrow. Fans posted heartfelt messages, recounting stories of how she had personally touched their lives through meet and greets, online chats, or her inspirational cover songs. People shared screenshots of Twitter DMs and YouTube comments to highlight her kindness and willingness to interact with nearly everyone who reached out. Memorial hashtags surged. RIP Christina and Pray for Christina were the most commonly used, with photos and quotes circulating across Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Many fans were teenagers or young adults who had grown up watching her channel, and they grappled with complex feelings of loss, fear, and disillusionment. For some, this was their first personal encounter with the horror of gun violence. Christina's time on The Voice linked her to a tight-knit community of singers, coaches, and production staff. Adam Levine, clearly distressed by the news, offered to pay for Christina's funeral expenses. He openly mourned the loss of one of the most talented people he had ever worked with. Blake Shelton, Pharrell Williams, Gwen Stefani, and other Voice personalities also expressed condolences on social media and in press statements. Producers from The Voice dedicated a memorial segment to Christina in the following season. They aired some of her most memorable performances and included a heartfelt tribute, underscoring that her time on the show was not just about competition, but also about the strong relationships she formed with everyone around her. Outside of the Voice orbit, celebrities from all corners of the entertainment world took to social platforms to express shock and sadness. Artists like Demi Lovato, Justin Bieber, and Fifth Harmony members posted tributes. Some, like Selena Gomez, had known Christina personally. Selena broke down on stage, dedicating her song, Transfiguration, to Christina and openly weeping in front of her audience. Beyond the music scene, politicians, activists, and everyday citizens shared sympathy messages. In a tragic twist of timing, the Pulse nightclub shooting occurred in Orlando just one day after Christina's murder, overshadowing her case in the national media. However, the local community, already reeling from Christina's killing, was plunged into further grief by another mass shooting in the same city. Despite the heartbreak, fans held candlelight vigils, not only in Orlando, but also in cities across the US and internationally. These gatherings served as communal spaces to remember Christina's life and discuss the implications of easy access to firearms, mental health resources, and the need for improved security at entertainment venues. Christina's parents, Tina and Albert, were devastated by the loss of their youngest child. Tina was already battling health issues. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer years prior. Christina often spoke about how her mother's resilience inspired her. Now, Tina had to face the unimaginable, burying her daughter. Albert released a short statement, thanking the public for their overwhelming support and prayers. He also made it clear that they would remain steadfast in their faith, believing Christina was now in heaven, free from pain and sorrow. Despite this spiritual grounding, the emotional toll was immense. Friends close to the family reported they were leaning on their church community and each other to navigate the staggering grief. Marcus, who had tried to shield his sister from the shooter, bore a particularly heavy weight. Witnessing the attack firsthand and valiantly attempting to subdue the gunman, he became both a hero and a victim of traumatic stress. Many fans hailed Marcus for preventing a larger tragedy. If Loibl had continued shooting, the death toll could have been much higher. In interviews, Marcus expressed regret that he couldn't save Christina. He recounted the event in painful detail, emphasizing how quickly the shooting happened. Nonetheless, the public credited him with extraordinary courage. Over time, Marcus channeled his grief into honoring Christina's legacy, working to keep her music and memory alive. On June 17, 2016, Christina's family held a public memorial in her home state of New Jersey. Fans were invited to pay their respects, and hundreds lined up for hours, many clutching flowers, letters, and stuffed animals. During the memorial, videos of Christina's performances played on screens. A small stage showcased her beloved piano. Friends spoke about her generosity and unwavering faith. While tears were shed, the event also featured music. Several people performed her original songs and worship tunes, turning the memorial into both a farewell and a celebration of life. The tragedy illuminated the stark reality that open access can sometimes be exploited by individuals harboring harmful intent. Less than 48 hours after Christina's murder, the city of Orlando faced an even larger tragedy. The Pulse nightclub shooting on June 12, 2016, in which 49 people were killed. This horrific massacre dominated national and international news, somewhat eclipsing coverage of Christina's case. While the Grimmie family grieved their personal loss, the entire nation watched in horror as details of the Pulse attack emerged. For many of Christina's fans, the shift in media attention was jarring. They felt her story vanish too quickly from the headlines. However, they also recognized the enormity of the Pulse shooting, which demanded extensive coverage due to its high casualty count and implications for the LGBTQ+ community. In the midst of profound sorrow, some of Christina's fans extended condolences to survivors and victims' families from the Pulse shooting. They saw a connection between the two events. Both were senseless acts of gun violence in Orlando. Both occurred in spaces meant for celebration and joy. One a concert, one a nightclub. The city's collective trauma deepened, and Orlando Strong became a rallying cry for solidarity. While the Pulse shooting overshadowed Christina's case in mainstream headlines, her story remained incredibly resonant in digital and fan communities. Hashtags dedicated to her memory continued to trend for weeks. Videos of her performances, especially from The Voice, saw a spike in views. She became, in a sense, an icon of innocence lost, a symbol of how ephemeral life can be, and how violence can snatch away even the brightest lights. In Orlando's historical timeline, June 2016 stands as a month of compounded grief. Yet, many supporters maintain that Christina should not be forgotten amid the larger national discourse surrounding gun violence. Her unique story, a young artist with a heart for fans, killed in the midst of fulfilling her dream, remains a critical piece of that conversation. Christina Grimmie's tragic death underscored how swiftly joy can turn into horror in an industry built on public gatherings. Musicians, especially emerging ones, rely on intimate fan engagement for success. Yet the same openness can be exploited by an individual harboring ill intentions. The struggles in the Grimmie family do not stop there, as Tina Grimmie's health battles continued, and she passed away in September 2018 after a courageous fight with breast cancer. It was another devastating blow to the family. Albert and Marcus have kept Christina's memory alive by managing her foundation and social media legacy. Marcus occasionally appears at events to speak about concert safety and the importance of mental health awareness. Through tears and hardships, the Grimmie family has maintained a narrative of faith and hope, often referencing their belief that Christina and Tina are together in heaven. Their resilience offers inspiration to many who've suffered sudden or inexplicable loss. Christina Grimmie's life was a testament to the power of passion, authenticity, and faith. From a shy child singing in her New Jersey living room to a YouTube trailblazer and beloved contestant on The Voice, she inspired millions. Her genuine warmth turned casual fans into lifelong supporters, and her willingness to connect with people made her stand out in an industry often fixated on image. Above all, Christina Grimmie's story is a reminder of life's fragile beauty, a cautionary tale about the risks public figures face, and a call to cherish and protect the bonds we share. Today, as fans around the world still press play on her heartfelt covers and original tracks, Christina's spirit lives on, reminding us that while evil can momentarily darken the stage, the light of talent, love, and faith can never truly be extinguished.